In 1556, while serving for King Henry, Nostradamus explained a prophecy which was assumed to refer to King Henry. The prophecy told of a young lion who would overcome an older one on the field of battle. The young lion would pierce the eye of the older one, and he would die a cruel death. Nostradamus warned King Henry he should avoid ceremonial jousting. 3 years later, when King Henry was 41 years old, he died in a jousting match when a lance from his opponent pierced the king's visor and entered his head behind the eye, deep into his brain. From the editors of History.com. How many of you have flipped through a magazine or a newspaper just to look for your daily horoscope? The yearning to know what is going to happen in the future is an almost innate desire, a part of human nature. Kings and other political figures and common folk plan for the future in order to find success and hopefully great reward. People all throughout the ages have used different forms of divination, commonly referred to as fortune telling, in order to do just this, prepare for the future. As a student and practitioner of the occult arts, I've worked with many different forms of divination throughout my 20 years of exchange with the occult. I practice and have studied cartomancy, rune casting, and astragalomancy, respectively, fortune telling using tarot cards, using ceramic or wooden tiles with early Germanic lettering engraved on them, or using dice. I'm here today to inform you, a group of my peers, about the traditions of divination as they were in the East, in the West, and as we practice in modern day America. I'll be covering the topics of the I Ching in the East, tarot in the West, and horoscopes in modern America. The I Ching is one of the most prolific forms of divination to arise out of the Eastern culture. According to the article, The 8 Trigrams of the Chinese I Ching and the 8 Primary Emotions, published by UCLA PhD sociology research professors Warren Tinhoughton and Wen Wang in the Asian Journal of Social Psychology, December 2001, the structure of the I Ching has evolved over centuries and consists of 2 parts, 8 trigrams and 64 hexagrams. The trigrams are accredited to Emperor Fuzi of the circa 2852 BC. The 64 hexagrams are accredited to Emperor Wen of the Zhou dynasty, circa 1080 BC. Both the hexagrams and the trigrams are made up of solid or broken lines, respectively referred to as yin and yang lines. Here we can see along the outside are the 8 trigrams repeated, 8 across each way. And in the center are the 64 hexagrams. The trigrams are devised of 3 sets of lines, where the hexagrams are 2 sets of trigrams, giving you 6 sets of lines. A practitioner, one method for consulting the I Ching is to gather a bundle of sticks designed for this purpose and to toss them, and then to read their arrangements according to the meanings defined within the text of the I Ching. Now that we've learned a little bit about the I Ching, let's pull the next card and learn about the tarot in the West. After reading the article, A Sociology of Tarot, by Mike Sosterek, a PhD sociologist, published in the Canadian Journal of Sociology in 2014, I learned that the tarot began as a simple card game in Italy, and later, during the French Revolution, was developed into a tool for divination by the Freemasons. The tarot deck is composed of 78 cards that are broken down into 4 suits of 14 cards each, and 22 individual cards, respectively referred to as the minor and the major arcana. The 4 cups of the minor arcana four suits of the minor arcana are cups, which represent water and emotion, wands or staves, which represent fire and creativity, swords, air and intellect, and coins or pentacles, earth and wealth. The 22 individual cards of the major arcana begin with the Fool. The 21 following cards tell the story of the Fool as he goes through his life experiences. So too do these cards represent major events within our own life. A practitioner has many layouts to choose from, but almost always does the idea of past, present, and future persist. The practitioner will draw the cards, lay them in their respective places, and then interpret their meanings according to the symbols arranged upon the faces of the cards. Now that we've learned a little bit about horoscopes, now that we've learned a little bit about tarot and I Ching, let us come to modern America and see the horoscopes. Horoscopes begin with the study of astrology in Greek and Roman times. Astrologers studied the path of the sun and divided the sky into even degrees and gave them constellations with different attributes and different properties which would be imbued into a person upon birth. Where the sun is determines what sign is that time of the year. Astrologers look at the planets' positions, which each also have their own properties and influences, in order to determine what a person's horoscope will be. However, when we look to the sky and we look for the position of the sun, we see that it's not in Leo during August, but however it's in Cancer. And according to the senior editor of Astronomy magazine, Mike Bakish, in his article, Astrology, Fact or Fiction, this is because of a thing called precession, the continued rotation of Earth's axis, which shifts the orientation of the stars in our skies. Bakish states that approximately 2,200 years ago, when the birth dates corresponding to the sun signs were determined, the signs corresponded to the constellations. Since then, however, the constellations have shifted almost 25 degrees. If you want to know the actual position of your signs, I suggest further research into sidereal astrology, which uses the actual position of the constellations. So in conclusion, we've learned about the 8 trigrams and the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching, the major and minor arcana of the tarot, and the origin of horoscopes. What would you do if your fortune was to become into death's path? Perhaps divination could one day save your life.